telling jokes and having smokes, riding bikes all through the night. It's a wild ride when you're being Ian. Coffee ice no matter what. Now you know he likes it in the butt. It's a wild ride when you're being Ian, being Ian. And life is shit, but you're positive. Let's find out what it's like to live a life being Ian, being Ian.
With Jordan. Oh, that's a good one.
That was the best one. Oh, I scared the rats.
Oh, shit.
Oh, today's a big day. We have very special guests on rats.
Yes.
A couple of rats.
Guinevere and
Richard
too. Welcome to Bein Ian with Jordan.
This is the biggest podcast ever because we have new rats.
Yes.
And we have our idol, the legend,
Steve O.
I've been trying to I've been trying to put the emphasis on O because I think it's funny. Steve O.
Yep.
You know?
There's no wrong way to say it.
Steve, oh shit, how good are those donuts?
Pretty good, man.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a record for squeezing the most fat and
Yes.
calories into one deep fried donut.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Are you a calorie watcher? Are you like a diet guy?
I mean, I'm either on the good side or the bad side of my diet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And right now I'm on the bad side. And as I said before we started recording, I just feel like I'm scratching and clawing for a new rock bottom, which will inspire me to reach out to my friends who are in 12-step food programs and say, okay, I need help. And I go back to taking photos of everything that I eat and sending it to them. And it's super annoying for all my friends.
How
No
fat have you
shit.
gotten?
I'm like what you call skinny fat, but you know,
No,
That's
that's
a good,
regular. That's
some
a good.
gals really like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
great.
have one kinda, and they like to rub it like a.
People tell you that so you don't
genius.
kill yourself, I think. Because you're weeping.
Yeah,
You're
'cause I'm
weeping
very-
under their breasts. You're like, do you think I'm a
Dude,
rotund
I joined
man?
a gym and it's the best. 3 days a week, I go to workout classes. I ride a bike everywhere, and the
What was
impetus
that
of
you did? What was the act out there? Okay,
I ride a
gotcha.
bicycle everywhere, and the impetus of that was that someone said I'm shaped like an egg roll, so I was like,
Yeah.
I gotta get rid of my egg roll. There's a lot of shrimp in here.
Egg roll doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, that just means you're barrel chested. Somebody said you're shaped like a barrel to me.
I am barrel chested.
Yeah.
because I can pack a fucking wallop.
I mean, it's cliche to say shaped like a pear.
Mm.
That's also really rough.
Like the Grinch.
Yeah, the pear.
Yeah.
A pear.
I haven't gotten the pear,
You don't want to.
so
be
I'm
pear.
hitting the bike. And I jam out to Gorilla Biscuits
Yeah,
and
dude.
Madball on the bicycle, trapped
Yeah.
under ice. Last night on the way home from the cellar, I'm riding the bike. I got Trapped Under Ice, 2007 demo, ripping and running, screaming to the song Evelyn. Reality unfolds, and these two dudes with long hair come up, and they're like, "Yeah!" And we all started to two-step and kind of mosh on our bikes while we were going down Delancey. It was the best.
Nice.
Because he has the biggest external speaker. He has a speaker that,
It's like a ghetto blast.
on
yeah,
the
I would
bike.
On a
shoot him.
bike.
If I had a gun, I would kill him
Because you
immediately.
got to be loud so people know you're coming.
You don't have to be loud in here,
Oh,
though.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And I'm excited. And
You had
And-
so much coffee.
and they go, have a beer with us. And I go, I'm 8 years sober.
Rad, man. I didn't know that. Dude.
I could have just
Congrats.
said no, thanks, bro. Yeah.
That's epic. I
Yeah.
had something later today, and it's canceled.
Nice.
So I'm free and clear for the evening.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe getting down on some sober stuff.
Dude, I'm
Wow.
fucking
Like going to
down.
AA?
wow. You're not allowed to say that. That's like one of the main things of the
I mean, it's not a big deal. I don't like.
Yeah.
I'm not too precious about it. But yeah, get down with some sober stuff.
Yeah.
Scratches the
Wait,
itch.
wait.
Dude,
If
the
you're
gym
in
guys-
if you're in AA, you're not allowed to say I'm going to AA.
It's not
It's
that you're not
anonymous.
allowed to say it.
It's one of the traditions.
Is what?
Is
Well, all of the traditions are based on the principle of anonymity.
But
yeah.
oh, so
Especially
you're supposed to be anonymous even for yourself.
what?
Oh,
It's mostly especially for yourself.
okay. Wait. So if
yeah, don't feel bad or anything. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Also, I think more people need to be open that there is a place to
can
go.
I just clarify? So
Yeah.
if I'm an alcoholic and I'm
Yeah.
like I'm gonna go to a meeting,
Yes.
Yeah.
everybody around me would go shh. like that, or you're allowed to say what is?
I mean, no, it's not. It's more of a personal preference thing.
Every
the-
comic I know is like, I'm about to go to an AA meeting because I'm on the verge of jumping off a building. You know what I mean?
Right, but at the same time, there is a tradition where you were supposed to maintain anonymity and the level of press, radio, and film, because initially when AA was started, the idea was if you are a public figure and you talk about this and then you relapse, people will go, see, it doesn't work. See, you shouldn't go.
That's actually, you know, you hear people say that a lot.
Am I grossly misinformed?
Well, if you look at the literature,
Yes.
it says that they were concerned. They only went by their first names. They remained anonymous because they knew that alcoholism was so prevalent, that it was such just a massive problem, that if they put their full names out there, they would be deluged with requests to help. And they were all professional people. They're like, we can't help everybody. So we got to stay under the radar so that we can actually function in our lives, which is the primary concern. When people say that it's more of a question of people are going to think Alcoholics Anonymous doesn't work if a high profile person waves the flag and then relapses. But I don't subscribe to that, because I think it's much like a gym situation. You know, like if you got somebody who loses a bunch of weight, they get in great shape, they say, you know what, I went to 24-hour fitness, look at me, I'm in this great shape. And then all of a sudden they become a fat slob again.
And they're shaped like an egg roll.
And yeah, like a pear.
Yeah.
Then nobody's going to think 24 fitness
Doesn't
doesn't
work,
work.
right.
They're just going to think, oh, well, this guy stopped putting in the work. This guy stopped going to 24-hour fitness. So I don't think that's the concern. What I think the concern is that when people wave the flag and say, you know, that they're somehow trying to leverage Alcoholics Anonymous, their sobriety, as like leverage it for power, property, and prestige kind of a thing. You know, they're using it as like a chip to, and once you start doing that, you effectively tangle the wires. You know, you get your motivation off kilter. And that's why of sober people, the highest rates of relapse are for people who actually work in recovery. People who are drug counselors.
I worked in a
'cause there's-
sober living house and I relapsed and got fired. Yeah.
Because there's so much pressure on you to be the hero.
It's not necessarily that. It's, I think, more that
You go on a gig or run for 2 weeks in the Midwest and you get drunk in an airport because your sponsor didn't pick up because you annoyed him a lot.
it's more that you're tangling up the wires, you know, that you're professionalizing it. So you're like, it's like, well, what are you in it for? Like, you know, you're making money off of it. Like it calls the motivation into question. And, I mean, I don't know. So I try to keep it kind of separate, and at the level of media, I just, you know, kind of leave it over there.
Yeah.
But I also don't shy away from it either.
Yeah.
I'm about to join SLAA.
There you
Go
go.
to SLA
I gave
meetings.
her my book, the SLAA
Okay.
book.
This is how this podcast works. I say something and then Ian tells a brief story about his life. So
No, here's
just
how the
get on
podcast
board.
works. I'm going to go to SLAA because I went through a breakup again. And the breakup,
Yeah,
go.
that's way more interesting than you being like, I know hardcore people and I sometimes smoke in here, but I can't. But guess what? I'm a really cool guy, Steve-O. I'm really cool, and I think that you'd really like me if you could see me in my natural habitat.
I identify as a sex addict too.
Do you?
I do.
He's a sex addict. I'm a love addict.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I was a sex. That'd be great. Love it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I
It's
think
probably
that
something you probably suffer.
The line gets pretty blurry in between.
It is,
Yeah.
but that's what I don't. I'm reading this SLA book, and it's like they're talking about love addicts, they're talking about sex addicts, and they seem like such different people. Like one is just like, I'm gonna go get any pussy I can, and the other one is like, I'm gonna have a long relationship with somebody that I cling on to forever. And I'm just now reading like how those two things are the same, and it's just all validation.
I mean, exactly. It's validation. Guys are trying to crush as much beef as possible to make up for their shortcomings, and it's just so counterintuitive to think that you're being this promiscuous because you want to, increase your value. But what you're doing to try to increase your value is bringing about the opposite result.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's the circles and the values and what brings you towards them and away from them. Bottom line behaviors, top line behaviors.
Yeah.
And I've been having some bottom lines lately.
Yeah.
I gotta get back to top
Emphasis
lines.
on
That's
bottom.
I mean,
Only for Emma.
Because he's doing gay shit.
okay. All right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Gets
tell
up
him-
and leaves.
tell him-
He's like, okay, cool.
No, I'm not sure. I'm interested in that. Like, when I got sober in 2008,
Hell
Nice.
and reasonably shortly after that, a couple years after that, I went off, started touring stand-up in comedy clubs, and from the beginning, recognizing that I am Steve-O, known for the jackass stuff, and that a lot of people kind of looked sideways at Steve-O doing stand-up comedy
Right,
in
right.
the comedy club. It was important to me to in kind of a grassroots promotional effort, like at the end of every single show and in every single comedy club, I said, I'm not going anywhere until I take a photo with every single one of you guys that wants one. And I would turn every comedy club into a full-on meet and greet and stick around and take every photo, because I felt confident that everybody, I wanted to send everybody home with a photo that they could post on their social media to tell all of their friends that they were pleasantly surprised that Steve-O's show was better than they expected.
Ah.
And I think that was effective because I kept going around the circuit for 11 years without ever stopping, and ultimately graduated to theaters, and that was great. But I bring this to you because it was kind of a dual purpose operation with the meet and greets. It was grassroots promotion, but it was also a glorified
hunting.
audition to
Uh-huh.
identify who I would act out sexually with.
Yes.
That's
that
what Ian
night.
does every show.
No, that's not what I
Yes.
do. Quit throwing me under the bus.
Yes,
You
he
got a
does that.
broken pussy.
I do. I have a lump inside my vagina. We're
Oh,
quite
yeah.
worried about
Yeah,
it.
and she wanted me to feel it, and I.
But then you got excited about it,
No,
so I said no.
joked. I said, let's go see
Listen,
a movie.
I said there's.
And I said, as your friend, I'll do it.
I
And then
said-
once I said,
I
I'll get
said-
gloves, she goes, never mind,
I
forget
said there's
it.
a lump inside my vagina that I'm really freaking out about. He said, "Do you want me to feel it?" And I said, "Yes." Would you? And then he's like, then he's starting to get excited about it. So I drop it. I come down here playing with the rats, and he walks down. He goes, "All right, let's do it. I'll do it.
Well, I told her
I'll
I'm
do
going
it.
to wash my hands before I smoke
I'll
a
be
cigarette.
a martyr, and I'll feel your vagina."
No.
And then
Sorry,
Ethan
I
goes.
stepped behind you
and
and,
then-
said, let's go.
And then Ethan goes, "That's not a good idea." And Ian goes, "Shut up, Ethan." And that's when I was like, "No, we're not doing this." What are you gonna say?
My belt.
You're gonna get a lump
Unbuckled.
on your vagina if you feel my lump on my vagina. You'll pop a little chub, freak me
Don't
out.
give yourself that much
You
credit.
would, dude. It's
It was
right in the
medical
opening.
and sterile.
Listen,
And I kept
this
saying,
is what he
are you
does. This is
sure?
how much of a sex addict he is. He'll even just a
She-
finger is enough for
she's
him.
Playing a game. I said, as a friend, if you want, and you go, please, please, and I go, hey, if you want, and then the second I
You
said, let
barreled
me get
down
a
here
glove,
and said, "I'm ready."
I was excited. It was,
There you
to
go.
help a friend. X.
There you go. Yeah,
Just
so
kidding.
I was just on a tear.
Yeah.
And it felt like a bad look, you know.
Really?
And
Are you married now? You have a ring.
it's an engagement ring.
Nice,
Yeah,
congratulations.
I think it's absurd and disrespectful that our society thinks only a woman should indicate that she's taken.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You should get
Yeah.
a big diamond on that.
Yeah, I mean, what like oh we get engaged now you since we're engaged, should indicate that you're off the market.
Yeah.
But I'm just
me.
gonna go ahead. And,
Yeah.
Business as usual.
Yeah.
For me.
I'm going to get my fill before the wedding.
Yeah.
When my ball and chain is attached.
People think I'm engaged or married because of mine, but I'm just half
Nobody
gay.
thinks that ever.
Someone
People,
had
no,
said-
nobody looks at you and goes, I think he's engaged. Or I think somebody loves him every day.
This fucking bitch.
Yeah.
I think somebody's at home waiting for
Hey,
him.
yo, one more, and I'm gonna kill your rat. Yeah.
I'll kill your cat.
No. Jokes off, friends.
See, I was 35 when I started touring comedy clubs, and when I got to 38, I was like, it started to occur to me that as I approached 40, that just trying to hook up with as many chicks as possible was not the path to being happy.
No.
Can I ask you something? Is there ever, because I've been thinking about this a lot, what if you just hooked up with so many that you got it out of your system and then you were ready?
That's like throwing so many logs on the fire that it just goes out.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Just way too many. Yeah.
And fondling the
Yeah.
logs.
This will start it up.
Yeah,
Surely
like,
this
I
will.
keep getting splinters on my hands with
Yeah.
these logs.
You also don't smoke enough crack to get it out of your system.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
How did you meet your current fiance at a show?
I recognized that I had a lot of work to do to preemptively become the man who she deserves.
That's awesome.
Knowing that I had never met the love of my life, that was my mantra. I said, I'm gonna do the
Oh,
work.
so you put that out in the universe.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Initially,
gonna
I
do
said,
that.
you know what, like, I'm gonna be 40. I had this joke, and it's kind of mean, but I said, I'm about to be 40. And like I'm thinking, like, do I really want to be 50 years old, like physically falling apart, trying to hump everything that moves? I don't want to turn into Pauly Shore.
Yeah. No. That's so good. That's awesome.
Buddy.
And so I swore off hooking up with chicks. No more pussy. I'm not fooling around.
Did you do like a 90-90 hardcore
Well, the thing was that I
SLAA?
could not stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My first comedy special was all of my most colorful groupie sex stories, and it went into me trying to stop, and I couldn't. Like I remember, like, and it was all just true stories. There was a point when I swore off pussy, and there I was, minding my own business at the titty bar.
Yeah.
And this little cute dancer with huge boobs came running over and stuck her ass in my face, and she literally had my autograph tattooed on her butt cheek.
No way.
Yeah,
How do you not fuck her?
exactly. How are we gonna turn down a piece of ass with your name on it?
Quick, Sharpie Steve-O on my head.
Yeah. And then it was like just a comedy of errors, and I ended up getting into therapy, and then my therapist said, you need to go to sex addict rehab, and I did that. And
How long was that?
it was an outpatient program that lasted 2 weeks.
Okay, so
Mm.
you would come and go at night. You
So
could
it's
stay at home.
Yeah, it was an outpatient
PHP?
program. IOP, intensive outpatient.
Oh, I've been there.
And-
Where they basically just stop you from doing it, or you go to workshops all day?
You go and work on
Yeah,
it.
and you do like
heavy-
workbooks and stuff
heavy
during
therapy,
the day. Yeah.
childhood trauma, all this kind of work, and they recommended that they recommended a period of celibacy,
Mm-hmm.
like 30 to 90 days was the suggestion, and the idea was that by being completely celibate, meaning that Elvis does not leave the building even if I'm on my own.
I love Elvis.
That,
His penis name's Elvis too.
I love
Yeah.
Elvis.
that it rewires your brain somehow.
Question.
Yeah.
Did you also abstain from P&M, porn and masturbation?
Well, celibacy means like
Yeah.
100%.
I did that, and dude, I've told you, I had a box of tissues that I went through a week of just crying and feeling everything of like, because I wanted to like get in DMs and like flirt and da da da. And I would only go to men's meetings. I stayed away, and it was like the hardest fucking thing I've ever done.
Yeah, I porn what would be in my inner circle, meaning red light behavior, like behavior which constitutes a relapse.
Yeah.
What do love addicts also have to abstain, or do they?
Well, I
abstain?
mean, here's the thing, and I'm not sure about SLAA, but I think that it operates with the same circle plan,
Yeah.
which is effectively a circle plan is how each addict defines their own sobriety. Like with alcohol and drugs, it's very simple, black and white. You just don't do it. You don't have it. You're better off without it. Easy. But with food and sex,
You
like
need it.
you can't like just cut it out of your life. You just are sexual, and you have to eat. So with these programs, it's more about taking a new approach to it, a new and healthier approach to sex. And so for that reason, like you define your own sobriety in SAA. You start with you make lists. There's red light behavior. This is the inner circle, which is like the bullseye. Inside the inner circle, like this is the most destructive behavior. You got to stop that. And to do it constitutes a relapse. And for some people, inner circle, red light behavior would be porn. For other sex addicts, like porn's not a big deal, like for me, it was like I'd go to like the banana massage parlor, like that's no go.
You gotta.
That was my Sunday night. Yeah, but I okayed it in my brain because
He
said,
jerked himself
I'll
off.
jerk myself off.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she did.
What a waste of money.
She was tracing fingers and touching stuff, but I was like, I got it from here.
Wow.
So in my mental gymnastics, I was like, this is all right. It's not as bad.
That's just a criminal waste of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I know. It was a bad idea. I
Right.
regret it deeply.
Right.
He's really bad with money. He bought a Delta One ticket for like $4,000 or something, and is
But
still paying it
I
off.
am paying it off because I
That's
did the installment plan on my
That's
Amex
great.
card.
I went so crazy after the sex addict rehab. Like I basically stuntified it, and I went for more than a year. The entire year of 2014, I did not blow a load. I actually
What?
went for a total period of exactly 431 days without ever blowing a load.
What was your first load like?
Everybody asks this question.
Sorry.
And it was very underwhelming.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I remember it being
Was it like
quite
quick?
quite watery, not
Nice.
particularly large.
That's good. You didn't get a reward.
Right, and it didn't even feel that good. That was the
Wow.
real ass kicker. But I took a photo of my tummy,
Nice.
and I texted that photo to my men's therapy group,
Uh-huh.
as well as the therapist, who's a woman, and everybody was just utterly, I would say shocked, but they were just deeply disappointed in me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Like,
Because the
you
load
just-
was
you
so
just-
bad?
You just took a photo of a load on your stomach and texted it to our female therapist. You stupid asshole.
Because you wanted to be accountable. You wanted her to
Yeah,
have.
like-
Or did you want to
have
be
track
like,
of it?
I was just,
You
See
could have
what
just
you
done
guys
the
can
classic
build up
Steve-O
to?
like this, and then like click send it.
yeah. But as I sit here today, I have 6 years of sobriety in the sex program.
Wow.
And what does that
What
mean?
does that mean?
That means that I've not been in the inner circle, like as I've defined my sexual
Right.
sobriety, which is really pretty basic, just no sexual contact outside of my committed
Right.
relationship.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Now, congrats, by the
Thank
way.
you.
That's
like
fucking
a DM.
incredible.
So if I
big
DM
deal.
you and I'm like, "Hey, what's up?"
I'm not even gonna see it.
You're not even gonna see it.
I got a guy in my DMs like who will alert me to anything
So do I.
that
Oh.
I got a Yeah, I don't look at DMs. I don't
That's
even,
great.
I try not to even look at comments if I'm honest. Like I don't want to see comments. They hurt my feelings.
Question. When you did the 431
31 days.
days,
Which is a year and 3 months. And
yes.
Did
and
you miss your daddy? Sorry, I'm just trying to predict what you're about to say. Did you have childhood memories come up in an overwhelming amount where whenever you would come, that was you were reminded of your father? Go ahead, sorry.
I'm glad I didn't check your pussy lump out. When you know,
Yeah.
when I when you I hate you. When you did this, were you talking to women? Were you flirting? Because these are all my
good
slippery
question.
slopes of like
Right. That's
looking at
yellow light
porn
behavior.
or like flirting.
Yeah.
It's what?
Yellow light behavior, the middle circle. There's the inner circle, which is the red light. Then there's the middle circle, which is kind of the in between band.
Mhm.
That's the yellow light behavior, which means it does not constitute a relapse, but we want to recognize that it's dangerous behavior, which we got to be very careful around.
Well, how do you get rid of the shame of doing that behavior and having that shame not lead to red light?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I did. I came out of sex addict rehab, my 2-week outpatient program, and I had like comedy club dates on my calendar. And I'm like, oh, dude, like I'm a dead duck. I'm like, if I think I'm gonna maintain my sexual sobriety and go out on the road, like it's not gonna happen. So I reached out for somebody to come on tour with me and serve as like a sober companion, so to speak.
Dude, I have my buddies who open for me share hotel rooms with me.
That's
So I don't
cheap.
have
You're
that.
just
And then I
cheap.
go do laundry, right? I am cheap. But also go do laundry because I
That's
got the
abusive
waitress
to
coming
them.
over and I shouldn't do it. I can't stop.
Oh my God, you did fuck that waitress and then you shipped her here. He has a problem. How do we fix it? Get the taser.
Like I started out with like an actual sober companion guy who was like for the weekend, like I paid this guy like $1,500. I was losing my mind. It drove from LA to San Francisco for the shows, and like the guy's like showing me his acting. Like
Oh,
real,
no.
like while I'm driving.
What a
and he's
fucking punisher.
Jamming his phone in my face so I could see his acting reel, and I'm just like, and I'm paying this guy $1,500, like and so that
Dump him out of the
and
car.
then I had another kind of a false alarm, and then I reached out to this third guy, and I said, hey man, I've got you know, like I still had my sobriety intact, and I reached out to this guy. His name's Scott. I said, hey man, like, can you come with me to Tennessee and just help me like not act out? And bless his heart, this guy Scott, he said, yeah man, totally dude. It's just like with the flights, I'm just kind of tight on cash, you know, like dude, I got you.
Oh,
I said, yeah.
he was thinking like, I don't know if I can afford it, but I'll be
Yeah.
there.
Oh, what a
That's so
sweetie.
sweet. That's
yeah,
awesome.
what a bro, right?
Yeah.
So we went to, I think it was Chattanooga, some comedy club there. We went out there. I'm like, I got you. And I said, furthermore, normally what I do at the comedy clubs is I get an employee of the club to sell my T-shirts and my books, and I give them like you know, $1, like $2 for it's $20 for what I sell, and I let $2, so 10%. I let the
Yeah.
keep. So you do that, like. You know, that
that's
way you
great.
can that way you can actually come home with some cash.
Yeah.
And then two, at when I'm doing my meet and greet after the show, like I'm right next to the merch table. There's my buddy.
Yeah.
Cock block.
nice.
He's a professional
Yes.
cock blocker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anybody hands me and slips me a phone number, I hand it to him. He tosses it. Like
Wow.
we shared a hotel room.
Yeah.
And it was so rad because at the time, like soon the first fucking weekend, Scott says, dude, you don't have a credit card swiper? Like you only have T-shirts and books, no hats, no. And like this dude built my fucking merchandising empire.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where we went on to turn every fucking comedy club into a bona fide fucking flea market.
That's
selling
awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Steve-O sunglasses, Steve-O pens, Steve-O socks.
Yeah.
I mean, more fucking merch than you could even believe. And they just keep now like Steve-O hot sauce, the posters,
Wow.
Yeah.
DVDs, like it is ridiculous. And Scott went on to become my business partner.
Oh,
He,
dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, he built my merchandising empire with me. He's heavily featured on all 3 of my comedy specials.
Is
Oh,
he a
dude, that's
comic
the
or just a
best.
buddy?
He's not a comic, no.
That's
Just a good
so
buddy.
cool.
Yeah, that
He-
rules.
He's if anything,
I gotta get better friends.
I need that with food. I just want to hire a tiny little Chinese man who doesn't speak English, so he can't talk to me, to just hit me every time I eat something that I don't
Dude,
need.
tell
You
me
know,
about it. That's exactly where I am.
just a
man.
little one of those drumsticks that don't make
I
sound.
can do
no,
that.
Crazy.
It is no
That's
food
Japanese.
for all
Yeah.
I can. The only one I can do.
Scott fills in my gaps. Like I'm very creative. I'm not administrative, and he's just exactly the opposite.
That's the best.
God, I want to find a fiance that has a handler to make sure he never has sex. That rules. Follow him around. Rip all the numbers out of his hand and sleep in bed with him. Snuggle him, but don't snuggle him too well.
That's 100% it. And I'm struck by how not cool it is in our society to identify as a sex addict.
Right.
Like we've come very far with alcoholics, and like if you're an alcoholic, you know, I'm sober. Like that's even kind of cool these
Yeah.
days. You know, like there's no problem there, but it's very stigmatized to identify as a sex addict. And I submit that I would much rather be the guy who identifies as a sex addict and like candidly works really hard and cares very much to maintain my integrity, to do the right thing, to tell the truth, and to, as opposed to not identify as a sex addict, just be a scumbag.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. Agreed.
Especially if you're
yes.
the stand-up thing. I mean, the stand-up. I have so many friends who just bang out whoever, and I'm like, you have no idea what kind of crazy girl in 2 days is going to be butthurt.
Do
that
you
you
have your
don't call-
fucking CDL? Because you were driving this fucking bus over me over and over.
Oh, I just looked at you. But it's my other friends too. Well, you know, and it's like in comedy, these girls, they're so chuckle fucks are usually women who have like some sort of personality disorder.
Chuckle fucks. So that's like the skateboarding equivalent of a pro ho.
Dude, pro hoes are hot though.
What? They're what?
They're hot.
Chuckle
fucks are not hot. They're like fag hags. They're like they have like a hard fat to them. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Hard
I think
fat's all right.
I mean, I think that I don't think you can make that kind of a general statement.
That's what I'm saying. Fuck you.
Pro hoes, I feel like they usually skateboard, which means they're kind of like
Yeah.
punky and hot.
See, she wants to be a pro.
There's skate betties and then there's pro hoes.
What's a
Very
skate
different.
betty?
What's
Skate betty's a girl who skates.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm thinking of. Pro ho. What's pro ho? Just
Pro ho is just a girl who wants to hook up with the
Yeah.
professional skateboarder, like a professional skateboarder groupie.
Yeah.
okay. Like they'll go to the
Like a chuckle fuck, I
competitions.
presume, is a comedy club groupie.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I stay
We saw Chuckle
away
Fucks. Were you
from
there when they were
Chuckle
trying to
Fucks.
Chuckle
when
Fuck
they're
Hassan?
Chuckle Fuck and they go, I've seen you 5 times and I really look good in a hotel bed. I'm like, have a good night. I'm busy because I want to stay away from that.
Yeah. Here's
You
something
brought
that,
a woman off the street the other night who was a stripper with a little dog.
That was not the other night. That was a couple months ago. And I did not hook up with her. And I said, I'm trying to do a thing right now where I don't have sex with anyone. I hope you respect
I
that.
said that to
And
her.
You said,
I
you
said to
did
her-
say that to her. And then I said what you said.
You
To
brought
her.
in somebody rejected you, so you grab a stripper off the sidewalk with a little dog who was the cutest dog I've ever seen. Then you go to the bathroom and I go, "Hey, he's trying really hard not to have sex right now," and she goes, "I'm not gonna fuck him." And then you go,
Well, that's not true. You have a selective
Sorry, if I
fantasy brain.
If I heard you correctly, you explained, you defined your boundaries.
Yes.
in a
After
very
I
healthy
did.
way. You defined your boundaries with the stripper as you brought her into your hotel room.
I'm not supposed to be doing this.
Yeah.
It's the
That's
same
what we-
thing. It's the same thing we do at the donut tour. Like, you are bad.
Hey everybody, it's Ian here. I'm at my buddy's place in an undisclosed location where we had Thanksgiving. And guess what? We had delicious turkey, delicious veggies, delicious everything. But it took a while to cook it. Yeah, that's right. Well, he cooked it. And I caught up on sleep because I didn't sleep the night before. And he was late picking me up, so I also had to sleep in the Pittsburgh airport. Anyway, the reason I say that is because if you're tired of cooking and you want to get some sleep too, why don't you order Factor? Factor delivers chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals straight to your door. That's right, they're always fresh, never frozen. Just heat them up, and in 2 minutes, dinner is served. Yeah. Choose from over 35 weekly meal options, including breakfast. That's kind of all they listed. You got vegan, vegetarian, keto, calorie smart, protein plus meal options. No matter what your goals are here, Factor can help you get there. You're over here, you're over there, and we get there. That's right. Head to factormeals.com/SKA50 and use code SKA50 to get 50% off. That's right. That's code SKA, SKA50 at factormeals.com/SKA50 to get 50% off. Can you believe it? Living in America.
Right. But it's good fun, man. And I really believe in the Harvard happiness study. Like
What is that?
What is that?
They've done long-term studies on happiness and what contributes to quality of life and longevity, and being in a solid, healthy relationship, staying married, having a good marriage is like the pinnacle of for quality of life. Yeah. And for me, I above all else, I identify as an attention whore. Like at my core, I got to be the center of attention. I'll do anything for attention. And that makes it
paper cut the sides of your mouth.
Yeah.
I think about it all the time.
And that makes it very problematic for me to be confronting middle age and ultimately becoming old, because in our society, being old is
Irrelevance,
it's a fucking party foul to be old.
Yeah.
And there's a
Especially
reason for
and to
that.
be an old single dude that you go to a family function and people are like, Uncle Steve doesn't have a wife, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to reclaim the word bachelor.
Doesn't it make you feel better that all your friends are, every time I get worried, because I'm like, I'm a woman, I'm 32, I'm about to be put out to pasture.
But
And
you're so young.
thank you so much. But I always think about it as I'm like, oh, my friends are aging like the same. Like everybody, all of your jackass buddies are also the same age as you.
Understood. But the thing about old people is that they serve as a reminder of our mortality. And for the most part, in our society, nobody wants to think about their mortality. It's like la 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 la, blinders on. I don't want to think about how I'm gonna be dead. And so to see an old person, it makes people uncomfortable, and they just want that old person just out of their sight line.
Well,
which is shuttle them off to a nursing home, get them out of my fucking face. But I don't want to look at old people.
they're a burden. They don't think like me. Which is why I think it's so gross that so many people are getting Botox so young, and everybody wants to elongate life, and they're so afraid of looking old. And I think
Meanwhile, you
old,
date women who have only exclusive. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Dude.
You date the hottest. This is what we always say. Go ahead.
Yeah, and what do I say at the end of the day? What I want is I want to be old with someone that I love, and I want to lay in bed holding hands like otters do, and I deeply desire that.
Yeah.
But my sex stuff gets in the way of that, and I yearn for that. And I think that being in love and in a committed relationship is one of the greatest things, because it is a drug that you're getting, and it's what we deeply desire, I feel like, in our DNA.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I could not agree more. And for me to be old and like nobody wants to look at the old guy, but I want to be the center of attention, it's just like a gnarly catch-22, like shitty situation that like scares me a lot. And so it motivated me more and more to find a way to be in a healthy relationship and a life partner who will care about me when it all goes away.
But I think there's an importance of embracing the age and everything that comes with it, which is why I love having my lawn chair out front. Because we've talked about it before, about like, what would your perfect day be? And I always had this idea of like getting up in the morning, getting my coffee, sitting up front, reading a paper, and I've never done it. So that's like one of my top line behaviors. Like my days are better when I sit in my chair, I'm saying hello, I'm smoking my cigarette, and I love embracing my age, because with age comes wisdom. And I think people What are you laughing
I
at?
just think it's funny. I just think that it's funny that you're embracing your age because it is, you do live like a child and you date 22-year-olds. It is just ironic. Ethan, help me, please. It's slightly ironic. I'm just saying.
But I've told you
But it's
over
just
and
crazy.
you're jealous because you're never going to be that young again, you old hag. What do you think of that?
I just think it's funny. It's just like,
But I'm telling you the truth of what I
we get in
desire
so
and what
many-
I'm trying to go towards.
we get in so
But the
many
other
fights
thing
about
brings me
plastic
back.
surgery, and I'm
And I
always
say
like,
no
I'm
one
always
should
like,
do it.
I hate plastic surgery, and you're always like, you're just an old bitch, and then you date these women who have the
Because
big
you
lips.
say I date the other. Steve-O is here and he has a special, and I'm excited for it.
I had a conversation on my podcast
Yes.
with Kevin Smith,
Yes.
the director. He's great. And I was explaining to him about how, like, I'm just so self-conscious about getting older and
Yeah.
I'm so, like, scared of being old and everything that I just articulated to you guys. And he just fucking pushed back. Kevin Smith said, "You know, dude, I got to push back." He says, I think there's a bunch of people who are like properly old and manage to stay super edgy and super cool. Like
Civ.
he said George Carlin right there on the wall. George Carlin. He said I can picture you, Steve-O, being like a George Carlin, you know, like an edgy, cool, like old dude. And I really I grabbed onto that. I grabbed
Yeah.
onto that, and I want to thank Kevin Smith for saying that.
There's just
It's still like I'm still gripped by fear.
There's
Thousand
not a
bears.
there's not a huge amount of like there's no role models for old people. Especially I will say as a woman, there are so few with women. I mean, there's like you can think of
Damn
Barbara
Judi
Walters.
Dench.
I can think of like
Barbara Walters.
but even with like stand-up comics who are older ladies, they still have a glamour. Like there's a little bit of like a glamour and then it's like this like you know, they're still trying to hold on to some youth. I can
Joan
think of
Rivers.
Patty Smith helps.
It was Joan Rivers, and then Joan Rivers was effectively dethroned by Kathy Griffin.
Right,
And
but
then,
Joan Rivers still held on to the hot thing. I mean, like if you're
think?
aging like a yeah, she had
Dude,
lots
she
of
was-
surgery. She had yeah,
Right,
yeah, but that's a
like,
problem.
The thing with the Joan Rivers was like the plastic surgery equivalent of Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
She,
yeah, that's
like,
what I
You
mean.
know, so
well, what about Phyllis Diller?
I just mean somebody who goes
Lucille
with it
Ball.
and stays punk. I think the only one I have is like
Patty Smith is
Patty Smith
shit.
and probably the woman who was in 3 Billboards. What's her name?
ooh,
You know what I'm
not
talking
a
about?
not a ringing endorsement.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, who's three?
Or
Oh,
Tilda Swinton
The one
too.
who
She's
was in
badass.
3 Billboards.
You know who it
the-
is?
the Fargo
Frances.
Yes, the
Frances.
Fargo lady.
Yeah.
she's great.
She's awesome.
You don't
And
like
my
her?
mother. And
No,
my mother.
I'm not mad at her.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at her.
It'd be funny
But
if
there's
you were
not
mad
very
at her.
many. And it also is like
Pretty great.
Yeah, fucking bitch.
is it Frances?
It's,
McDormand?
and I got to acknowledge that I feel for women. I mean, it's so much like
It's
here
way
I'm
worse.
crying about. It's not okay for me to get old. I'm
Yeah,
Steve-O.
yeah.
It's like, hello,
Yeah.
asshole. Like women have it way harder.
Well, I think
It's
also
crazy.
too, it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy because I was talking to a friend of mine who's, very for lack of a better term, famous and very in the public thing. And she constantly is
Emma?
yeah, no.
Oh.
Well, yeah, but no. Like getting surgeries and Botox and everything. I'm like, you have a chance to break that stereotype and break that chain and that idea that like women have to look. And she's like, no, because I'm afraid if I do, I'll lose a bunch of stuff. And so it's like
Yeah.
you
That
have
is
a
what it is.
chance to show
I know.
that old
I know.
hags can
I'm
be
doing it.
cool.
I just don't like hearing you proselytize about it while you're banging out these Botox
But
bimbos.
you
That's all I'm
are
saying.
an idiot because I'm on your team.
I'm just
and I
saying.
don't want to be doing that. I'm trying to not do that.
I'm just
but
saying.
it's hard, and you need to acknowledge
I feel like
that.
with men, there are people
Acknowledge?
that you can look
Acknowledge,
to
please.
and be like, that's a really cool, edgy old guy. Where with women, it inevitably comes this. Every horror movie, the bad character is an old bitch. That's all it is. It's always an old lady, an old witch, an
Barbarian.
old hag, barbarian. It's always that.
I can think of a bunch of horror movies where the villain is not an old woman.
So many though. So like if it's a
Which
scary
ones?
haunting thing, it's The Conjuring, Barbarian, Witch. What was the one I just saw?
I mean, the Mount Rushmore of horror villains is Jason, Michael Myers,
Freddy Krueger.
Young man.
They're not young.
Well, they aren't they
Freddy
young scare
Krueger
men?
was never.
They're so old and gross they have to wear masks.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is true. But as a woman,
Yeah.
I'm representing women here.
No, but that's
Okay,
why
not-
you're
not-
great.
like you were. If I were to say the Mount Rushmore of female horror movie villains, like
Every witch in every Disney movie ever made.
all right. Oh man, I
But Disney gives such a false perception because also there's princesses.
What
So
horror
it
movie
makes
is there an
girls
old
think
man
that
that's
they're
like,
ne-
Disney's fucked up.
Yeah.
Dude, I read my brief time as a student at the University of Miami. I wrote this paper about like just how fucked up Disney was.
Yeah.
Like the Little Mermaid. She's not even allowed
To talk.
Talk.
Yeah.
She has to give up the beef without saying a word. Like, and then they have a cute song. She don't got a lot to say.
yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
I mean, dude, that's so
She has to
messed
choose
up.
between walking or speaking. She
Yeah.
only gets one. She can't have both.
Yeah.
You
Beauty
want
and the
legs or
Beast,
voice?
It's like this
Yeah.
girl's trapped unless she is in love with an ugly, disgusting
Dude,
beast man.
dude.
Sleeping Beauty is
Sleeping
asleep.
Beauty, she's fucking That's sexual.
She's sleeping.
She's asleep.
Snow White just accepts a million men around her at all times who bombard her
Oh,
home.
dude, Cinderella, if your fucking foot fits in this
Yeah.
shoe.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah,
like one
yeah.
of the more like mellow ones.
Yeah. Aladdin,
right.
I will not like you until you're a fucking prince, you little riffraff street rat.
Yeah. Aladdin has so many. The rapey stuff with Jafar, it's my favorite
Yeah.
thing to jerk off to, but it is not good for society. Did you see the Barbie movie?
I didn't, but I heard that like every dude I know who saw it, I heard them say it's actually really good.
Yes, me too. Every guy I know loved it.
I
They were like,
hated it.
it's-
I'm down to watch it.
I walked
just-
out.
It's not a priority.
Yeah.
I hated it so much because it was the whole moral of the story was telling people that Barbie is this icon or this like idealized icon that we'll never achieve. And then they go, and showing you that is Margot Robbie, who looks like a Barbie. And we're all like, oh God, she does exist.
Yeah, but
and
they're
she
not,
is hot
they
and
have to do
skinny.
that for marketing. They're not going to have a fucking burn victim
They could
missing
have a
an
regular.
eye as
They could have.
Barbie.
They could sell Margot Robbie. Maybe get to a reasonable weight because we're trying to tell people that they can be a reasonable weight.
No, I agree.
So you're not criticizing the Barbie movie in the same way as the far right.
What are they saying?
They were saying that
Oh,
it
fat
was,
isn't beautiful and stuff.
No, that like that it was just man bashing. Like,
No,
it
I
was-
hated it because it was offensive to because I grew up a very fat girl playing
Yeah.
with little skinny Barbies. And what I told myself is this could never be a person, not in a million years. And then I watched that movie and she was being like, that's not a real person. I'm like, you're Margot Robbie. You are a Barbie and you're the one proselytizing that women should be all shapes and sizes. Fuck yourself. That's how I felt.
There you go.
Yeah.
May I say though, and you know, we joke around and you've been joking at me the whole time and not being serious, but I'd like to be serious for a second.
No.
You are fucking dope. You're cool. You're hot. You know, all these like flaws that you're like, well, I'm old and this and that. Like you have a chance.
I
to
don't think
break
I'm
the
old.
cycle.
I'm just going to get old.
Well, you are old. And I think a lot of people look to you to go, oh shit, that's cool if I'm just authentically myself. And I think that's more important than trying to fit this role of what people want of like, well, I must be young forever. It's like, I would be so down with someone with like wrinkles and gray hairs if they were like, no, this is who I am. Fuck it. I don't care.
So much easier said than done.
So much easier said than done. You never fuck them.
You're doing it.
What do you mean?
I'd never fuck you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so much easier said than done. And
Yeah.
you can find a moment where you really do believe that, and then it'll just leave you.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
You
you
know,
see a
like-
sweet pair of 24-year-old titties.
Yeah,
Their
I mean, it's tough.
butts are so nice.
It's tough.
I know.
Is your fiance much younger than you?
13 years.
Yeah. I'm
He's
saying
happy.
fuck you.
How old are you?
38.
38. I'm 49.
Yeah.
My girl is so what? My girl's 36.
Cool. And when did you meet her?
Shortly before she turned 30. We've been together for 7 years.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
Is she super hot with Botox and lip fillers?
She's attractive.
Okay.
Yeah, she's.
Oh, you
she's-
have to say she's super hot, actually.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
She's
what's he
super
gonna
hot.
do?
You're right.
What answer you expect?
But is
She's
she?
super hot.
How does
Um,
she feel about aging?
she's a lot better about it than I am.
Really?
Mm.
Because she probably has less of the thing that we all three have, which is like the showman. We have to stand up and present
right.
ourselves and be like, love
Right.
me. And then somebody younger slips in and they're like, now I'm the cool tomboy chick. And you're like, no, wait, but I'm still cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My girl's epic.
That's
And-
why the new Jackass movie made me cry, because it was all of you guys. I was crying. It was all of you guys doing your thing. And then you were bringing in this new group.
Yeah.
And it was so moving. And then the way that it was like, it was very,
That's how I felt about the new Ghostbusters.
it was so, you guys did that so well. The way that you guys all would trash each other's bodies and then take care of each other emotionally afterwards was so awesome. And then you had these newbies coming in to like learn that was like the culture was to like, yeah, you're going to run your friend into the ground, but then you're going to be like, you okay, buddy? Quick check in, you know?
I
It was
love that.
awesome.
Yeah.
I
It'd be
love
cool
that.
if you checked in.
Fuck you.
My girl, her name is Lux. And
That's an awesome name.
yeah, she,
Where's she
LUX?
I mean, her real name is
Titan?
Courtney.
What?
Her real name is Courtney, but she doesn't like that. She goes by Lux.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
She works in production as a production designer, art director. She works in the art department. She did the production design for this new special I'm promoting.
Oh, no shit.
And the new special is overall a love story about our relationship.
No way.
Yeah, it's called Steve-O's Bucket List.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's my third comedy special. The first of them was just what happened on the stage. The second special was what happened on the stage. And in post-production, I edited in footage of the stories I was telling. So it was like multimedia in that the stand-up was illustrated by interstitial footage edited in.
Mhm.
And then for the third hour, I was like, man, I want to bring the multimedia component on the road, and I want to stop telling old stories. So create new material, create new footage. I was like, man, I'm going to do the most fucked up shit ever. And the bucket list was these ideas that I'd been sitting on. They were never supposed to happen. They were so fucked up. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. Like a perfect example of them, of like how ridiculous it was skydiving.
We went skydiving.
I always said for like 20 years, I was like, if I ever go skydiving, I'm going to be completely naked and furiously jacking off with another man strapped to my back. And I'll time it so that when I fall out of the airplane, I'm simultaneously ejaculating all over the place.
What?
I called this idea skyjacking. And
Oh,
like I said,
my.
never thought I was going to do it.
Did you
And
do
you did
it?
it.
Yeah.
Is it on?
What?
Yeah, that's
What do you mean you
How
did
did it not flap and hurt?
How did it not go soft as soon as you were jumped off the plane?
well because I jacked myself to the point of no return.
Oh,
And then I gave the sign and I'm like, get the fuck out of the plane. And on the way out of the plane is when I was blasting.
So wait, how
Wow.
did you take a helper?
I had a breakfast of 4 Cialis pills.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Nice.
Were you watching porn on the plane?
Yeah, this was my exception. It's been years since I watched porn.
Ah.
And
Why didn't you bring Lux, who just?
oh, that's
Yeah.
not a bad idea. She wasn't.
I didn't even think of that.
well, she wouldn't have wanted to do that on
Ian was
camera.
hard on our plane just because he had a guy strapped to him. He didn't need anything at all.
Uh-huh.
He
He's
was
the one that came.
sexually harassing this poor man.
No, I wasn't.
Yes, you
Yeah.
were.
What are
He
you
was like an
talking
army veteran, and you were like, where do I put my hands?
I was excited because he
He
felt
was
like a
so
father.
angry.
He
As
didn't
soon
like
as he heard your gay voice come out, he was like, I hate this. I hate everything about
I
this.
was like, so how long you been doing
yeah.
it?
And he was like,
You know?
sit back into my lap, and you were like, oh, don't mind if I do.
Don't have to tell me twice.
I really
So-
like skydiving except for the slow recovery. I like dropping, but then when you pull the chute and you're just stuck in a bad hang with somebody, that's what I didn't
Yeah.
like. You know what I mean?
I liked that part
Because I
it was
had
so
the guy who you
serene.
took on your first trip doing merch or doing
Yeah.
AA stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's who I had on the way down. Like I used to be an actor. I used to work, and I was like, "Get me down! I'm gonna unstrap. I'm gonna unstrap." It was crazy.
Yeah, that's really funny. So yeah, everything on my bucket list was super, super messed up. Like I had a medical professional steal general anesthesia drugs from the hospital and administer them to me through an IV while I was riding a bicycle around.
That's
What?
awesome.
That's pretty funny,
That's
right?
That is
awesome.
crazy.
Do you know what an epidural is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
4-inch needle in your spine.
Yeah.
They
For-
inject a drug into your spinal cavity.
For childbirth.
Well, it's just a pair. They'll do that for an amputation of your leg or something. Like you won't feel shit. And so the guy stole the drugs, injected them into my spine, pulls out the needle, and I fucking take off running to see how far I'm gonna make it.
And your legs turned into jello?
Yeah.
How'd you not bust your teeth out?
It's good. It's a good question. I just collapsed like a baby giraffe being born.
Did you wear a
Nice.
helmet?
I did. But that was mostly so that the GoPro on the helmet would have. yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So yeah, it's high level stuff, man. Everything on the bucket list is super high level. I did it all. I incorporated it all into a fucking power hour. And after each bit, I pay off the bit with the footage of the forbidden stunt
Yeah.
happening. And the order of the bucket list, it goes in descending order of Lux's approval and support.
That's awesome.
Holy
That's a
shit.
really good idea. And it ends with
Yeah.
the one that she was like, don't do this.
It's like how my relationship really began. The first item on the list I attribute to being the moment that I discovered that Lux was the one.
Mm.
Really?
Everybody else was running for their lives, barfing. Lux didn't fucking budge. She just moved in to get a better shot.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's the one.
That's awesome.
That's fucking
And
great.
then the second one, it's like, so, and then I asked her to marry me. So like that begs the question, like, are we gonna have kids or not?
Ooh.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
That's that. And then the
But
next
what was your
bit,
stunt for that one?
the
You go to
vasectomy Olympics.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What
we
is
need,
that?
we need to watch this
I
right
heard
now.
a joke when I was a kid. The joke was, what's the definition of macho?
Uh-huh.
It's a man who jogs home from his own vasectomy.
Huh.
I heard it when I was 12. I didn't even know what a vasectomy was. But I was like, fucking hey, man, I want to be macho. I'm going to do that. Except I'm going to do way more than jog. So I'm fucking galloping on a horse, bareback.
my
No,
God.
no. How
Yeah.
big did they swell?
It was like, it wasn't as how big they swole. It was just how like identical to a plum they looked.
Really?
Like the whole bag was like, yeah, you could put it side by side, like, you know, like a plum and my balls. And it's like,
My friend jammed his dick into a girl's taint on accident. Like he was fucking from behind and just jammed it. And he comes in, we used to live together, and he was like, can you look at this? And he pulls his balls out. And it was truly, I was like, I thought he was holding a plum. Like it was a
yeah.
deep purple. His dick was fine though. The balls really take the brunt of everything,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah,
Crazy.
didn't that hurt flying out of a plane with your sack flapping around?
I don't remember any of that really hurting.
Really?
Yeah, he must have been hard because doesn't your balls go up when you're hard, right? Or when you're
Yeah,
high?
No,
cold.
not when you're hard. That's more when you're cold.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, dude, I consider skyjacking to be the crown jewel of my entire career
That's
And I'll tell you-
incredible.
because it was so challenging to get the company that was down to have this happen under their banner.
Yeah.
To get the guy who was cool with being strapped to my back. Like to get the coverage from a production perspective,
Yeah.
to logistically to pull off the thing.
And figure out where the cum goes.
Right.
It goes into that dude's face, I'm pretty sure.
It was just so challenging. And given that my career at this point is all of my careers melded into one,
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, Jackass meets stand up like at the highest level.
Yeah.
Like the layers of skyjacking. There's so many layers. It's such like a fucking epic saga. And I believe that it's testimony to how far I've come developing the craft of storytelling and stand up. For me to tell a theater with more than 1,000 people in it, tell you what, guys, I'm going to show you a video of me jacking off to
Yeah.
completion.
To completion in
Yeah.
the sky.
Yeah.
Not just a jack.
You're gonna watch me blow a load, and like, you know, like that's just
And they're all like, yeah.
right, but like That's the thing is if you just said, okay, now we're gonna watch this, people would be fucking really weirded out.
Yeah.
But to tell the story
Right.
in a way that makes it not only permissible for 1,000 people to
They're
watch me jack off,
salivating,
but
waiting
to
for it.
watch with joy.
Yeah.
And like I really strongly believe, I say this after the thing that like I might be the only guy in the world who could like
Get away with that?
I don't even think Knoxville could get away with that. I think they'd be like, this should be Steve-O. This is gross with you doing this,
yeah,
you know?
like I think nothing against Knoxville, that's just not
Yeah.
that's not his lane.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just like I really fucking raised the bar for crazy, and I'm torn between being ashamed and really fucking proud.
Yeah.
That the vignettes in this special literally cause people to fucking pass out cold. Like
Really?
yeah, as soon as I started the tour, it became evident that the vasectomy video was causing some people to fucking pass out in the audience.
And when
And the worst part about it,
I
was
fainted
that-
from Jackass when I was younger. I fainted
Oh,
so
I don't
many
remember
times.
hearing anybody fainting.
I'm a fainter. I faint really
right,
easily.
Right, then yeah, you should
was-
set up a camera when you watch my special. So
Oh.
that you get
that's the
footage.
thing. When does it come out?
When does this come out?
Ethan? The 24th.
Oh, there you go. It's already out. It came out
Nice.
November 14th.
Dude, let's watch
We'll have
the
a live
special. We'll have a
watch.
watch party watching the special.
And dude, yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
love it.
hell yeah. And I'll faint. It'll be funny watching. I
Worst-
made one
Yeah,
woman
let's
faint.
practice right now.
I made one
Anyway.
woman faint with
5
my stand-up,
people-
and it made me feel great.
5 people passed out at the table of the first. There was 2 shows which were combined into one.
Did you know that was? Did you anticipate that? So
Dude,
you had medical
dude.
staff.
Well, yeah, we always had medical staff
Right.
at every fucking show on the tour. I mean, maybe not, but like medical ambulances showed up because what would happen, and it was pretty tragic, is that the guy who's gonna pass out, and it's mostly guys.
Yeah.
The guy's gonna pass out, like finds himself feeling kind of queasy, thinks, oh man, I don't feel right. Fuck, I need to get fresh air. So then he gets up out of his seat and is walking around to get fucking fresh air and is standing while he passes out. So he fucking falls down and hits his head.
Mm.
You know, like
Oh.
he's in the bathroom, makes it to the bathroom, falls out, hits his head.
That's
on
what
the
I
sink.
do. I always
yeah.
wobble to the bathroom and then faint
Yeah.
in
Yep.
there.
That's every time I've done that.
Yeah.
I'm
Not a big
walking,
deal.
and right beforehand I go, I gotta have a seat, and then my body just
Yeah. Not a big deal if they just fucking stay in their seat.
right.
And but it's the injuries that happen when they're walking around
Yeah.
and they pass out while they're standing that is actually really
Yeah.
bad. We got like we had broken noses and
My
stitches
God.
and like just
Wow.
all kinds of, like
So how do you keep performing while there's people just fainting in the crowd?
there are on the special itself there are 3 pass out breaks. And I gotta get the train back on the tracks. Say, hey, are we good? Like we make sure the medical attention is.
You
They
kept
do
that
that
all
at
in?
hardcore
I can't
shows.
mean it's streamlined. You know, it's streamlined. But I say like, hey, are we good? I don't want to be a Travis Scott fuckface.
Right.
Let's make sure you're good. And then, okay, we good now.
Were
Let's
there-
get this back on
Were
the
there
track.
pass out cams?
Dude,
Did you
there
get
were-
the people
dude,
passing
That's
out?
why it cost so much extra. Was because I told the production company I want to have more coverage on the audience than there's ever been.
Yeah.
And
Of them just going green and just turning.
as it happened, I could not have planted a fucking guy to pass out. Like I guarantee you, I will be accused of having planted somebody, and I
Right.
promise you, I did not. This guy was in the second row, 2 seats from the center aisle, second seat in. One
Nice.
just his buddy's on the aisle, the center aisle, and like right on camera, he's in the second fucking row, and he's like, oh, you can see him. He's like, hey buddy, I gotta get out of here. Doesn't even make the guy is not even able to get up from the aisle seat, and the dude just slumps over him, lands on his face on the center aisle, and slides across it on his face. The dude had this carpet burn on his face.
Jesus
And-
Christ.
Oh, he biffed it.
Yeah, dude, he slides across the center aisle on his face, and I'm like, whoa, this one might actually take a second.
Wow.
And you know, there's like the big post when you enter the theater. It's, you know, like by entering this premises, you
Right.
agree to be featured in this production. But because the guy like passed out like that, and like now he's gonna be like a
Yeah,
point of
centerpiece,
focus.
right? Yeah.
Like we weren't relying on that it's called
You
a
did-
cable cast. That we weren't relying on that release. They approached the guy. Hey, can we get you to sign off to be in the special? The guy's embarrassed. He doesn't want any fucking part in that. So in the special, you can't see the gnarly carpet burn on his
Right.
face.
Oh,
Like,
poor
He was a
Face
big
is
guy.
blurred.
He must have been a big
No,
guy.
he wasn't a big
So it
guy.
looked
just
like a
went in
marionette that got
forward.
its strings cut. Just-
I mean,
Yeah.
dude, we should bust it out and show you. Like when we wrap it up, I'll
Yeah.
show it to you.
That
Yeah, the special is
rules.
unbelievable.
Do
And
you ever faint or have you fainted?
I don't know that I've ever fainted. I've been hit in the head or hit
Yeah,
my head
passing
so
out is different
hard.
than fainting.
I've been knocked out.
yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah.
But you
knocked
haven't
out.
seen something and been like, no way. There, that doesn't.
I've never fainted from seeing something. No. And
Wow.
it's very few. You know, a vasectomy is not like a gory or graphic.
not invasive at
procedure.
all,
It's,
yeah.
it's minimally invasive. I thought it was underwhelming, and it was just a good thing I did all the funny stuff after to make it like.
Yeah, but how
like-
did that didn't make you pass out from the pain? I can't imagine the
Yeah,
amount
me
of
too.
pain.
The
You
actual-
galloped on a horse after a
Yeah.
vasectomy. I'm hurting thinking of you.
Dude, then we dressed me up like a pinata, hung me upside down, and we had kids whacking me in the balls with a stick.
Oh, because no kids allowed. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, like-
awesome. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh hell yeah, that's great. And you okay?
I mean, everything in this special is fucking over the top. Like, if you like Jackass, you will fucking love this.
Dude, that's
special.
like the
How old were you when
smartest
you shot all
fucking
this?
thing.
Well,
How
thanks.
long ago was it that when you shot all this?
Oh, I worked on the show for more than 5 years.
Oh my
I
God.
started working on it in 2018.
Don't you think if you're doing that in your 40s, you're pretty much okay before you get old? I mean, I think you got another 30 years before. You know what I mean?
You
if
should
you
be
ride a horse
studied.
with a vasectomy, that gives you 30 years before you're an old guy.
Maybe, but the first joke I say, guys, I'm in a messed up situation. I'm Steve-O in my 40s.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's silly. It gets a laugh. I just wonder, like, if it is the same joke. I'm Steve-O in my 50s. Then that's not funny anymore. You see?
Why?
I don't know.
No, it is. It is. It's still good.
No,
Steve
no,
in his
no.
60s is good.
Steve-O in any era is great. I can't wait for nursing home Steve-O.
I use you guys as a way to calm myself down when I get worried about aging. Is I'm like, all of those punks are now older than me. So you guys, you know what I mean? Like you're paving the road for punks to get old. And that's how
Yeah.
I literally
To be
calm
okay.
myself
Yeah,
down.
dude, look at the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the crying out loud, the Rolling Stones.
And Aerosmith.
I'm a little bit taking umbrage with you lumping in Civ with old people. That old, right?
Civ is older than you.
Yeah, older than me, but by what? Like maybe 10 years?
Is he 10 years older?
Yeah, but I think what she was saying was like, you can be that old and still be the coolest dude in
Yeah.
the world. And he's
But you can't
married,
think of
has
like an
kids.
old guy
He's
who's
still
cool.
fucking kicking and singing every fucking weekend, tattooing every day. Like
Tattooing.
he's a fucking man. I can't wait to get a tattoo from him at Lotus.
My mom is 64
and she's still working
building
construction.
Wow.
she's building like a house
Yeah.
once a week.
My
With a
mom
big
is
belt.
70 and she does not leave the house.
Wow.
Well, guys, that's
Yeah. Now I want to say this too, that Jackass never would have let me do these fucking things I did for the bucket list.
Oh, really?
Well, because you can't
Wait,
break
why?
the law. You can't have people stealing drugs from hospitals.
right.
Oh, yeah.
So like the
Wait, but why can't they? But you can.
they just like it would never work for Paramount Pictures to be like, hey, I got this asshole doctor in disguise. He's gonna inject drugs into my spinal cavity and paralyze me.
You
Like,
can't do like parody law,
nah, it didn't work that way.
goof law.
And we were filming that fourth Jackass movie
Right.
when I filmed this, and I was like, yo, I got this guy. And he's got these drugs, and he's gonna fucking shoot him up into my spinal cavity.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take off running, and like tell me that's not awesome.
Yeah.
And, you know, and the powers that be of Jackass, they said like, hey, that's great, but we can't do that. Like we cannot.
Were
And I
any
was
of the
like-
other
I
guys
was-
jealous of all your ideas?
No, I wouldn't say that, but
Or like, I want to do that.
well,
We found out that Poopie's when he got bit by a shark and he was very like the one thing I remember him saying about it was he was like, Steve-O was so much help with it because I
Yeah.
think you were like,
Well,
Yeah, we hung out with Poopies. That was wild.
depends on which poopies you got.
Yeah.
Well, he brought a dog in a go-kart. We're like, what are you doing?
Okay, so you got the bad poopies.
yeah,
We
Yeah.
had diarrhea.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
With Shark Week is Discovery Channel. Like initially, there was a question of whether or not they were even going to show the shark attack. They had done Shark Week for 30 years.
it seemed
Never had
so
an attack.
illegal. It seemed crazy that they
Yeah.
were doing it.
They never had a shark attack for 30 years of Shark Week, and then we come along and we pull it off in like 30 minutes.
Because you had him jump a shark tank, right?
Right. Initially, they were like, "We can't show that. Like, we're just gonna get shut down. Like, we can't even show that." And I got very, very animated, very involved. I said, "Look, like the only thing that will make what has happened with this shark attack okay is if Poopies gets the glory. For you to bury that footage and not let it see the light of day would be the only
Right.
tragedy in this.
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
what-
only bad thing that could
Yeah,
possibly
yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
You know, let him get the glory. Let this be the notch in his belt. And thank God Discovery Channel did go ahead and put it out, but I knew that they were going to put out a sanitized,
Muted version.
pussified,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, and so I took it upon myself to locate the footage, the raw footage. Like,
Hell yeah.
I located.
That's what he said. Yeah, that's what he said.
I got the raw footage, like very illegally,
Yes.
like from people who weren't supposed to have it.
Right.
People who
The dark web.
People
Yes.
who like, well, nobody will ever know who it was that had it, who gave it to me, but I got the raw footage, and I was like, okay, Poopies, we're gonna tell your story properly. We're not gonna sanitize it. We're gonna tell it like we're gonna show it. We're gonna tell it. And I went like on this whirlwind tour of the Los Angeles area to the Jackass director Jeff Tremaine, to Johnny Knoxville, to Chris Pontius, to everybody who was there, and I personally interviewed each person and gave
I got
all the
goosebumps.
footage of the attack, all of the interview footage to Poopies. And
Imagine getting attacked by a shark and you don't even get
Yeah.
the footage. I
Yeah.
mean, that's so crazy.
What asshole.
And he's
Right.
making art. That is your guys'
Yeah.
art. That is art for
Right.
us.
And good on you for fucking sticking
That
your neck out.
rules.
I felt really good about doing it, and I want to give like heaps of credit to Jack Satariano, who put together this incredible video. He interviewed Poopies for Poopies, like for his kind of interview to narrate
Right.
the story. And in telling the story the way it actually happened, Poopies got so emotional, and he's just like crying, telling the story.
Yeah.
And god damn, it's the most like wonderful, touching, like moving, like just the way that it's the only like really good video on Poopie's channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I've looked through a lot of them and I'm like, there's more like this one.
Okay, sorry, it's the only one. It's
Yeah.
the only one,
Yeah.
And it's got like well over 1 million views, and it's his story, and it's and nothing against Discovery Channel. I get what
Yeah.
they do. I get what they do, and I appreciate that they were not angry or active.
Yeah, no, they got to
about-
make
about
more
what I-
episodes of Alaskan bush people.
Yeah.
They can't
Yeah.
show some real shit.
Yeah, no, but they were cool.
Sorry, it's not wicked tuna.
And I came clean to them. I was like, hey, look, you know, like I orchestrated this telling of the story.
Yeah.
And I think they were like, oh yeah, well, like put the link in the description or something. Like they were
Fuck
cool
you.
about it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
Like,
never
promote
mind.
it.
Discovery was very cool about it.
That's cool. Yeah, when
Yeah.
we met him, he had his hand all wrapped up, and we asked him about it, and he talked about it. He got emotional then, but I remember him getting particularly like he was like, if it wasn't for Steve-O, it would just be for nothing. So that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
that's
cool, man.
dope.
And Poopies is now
engaged.
and 10 months sober.
No way.
Oh my
that's the
God.
best.
Yeah.
Because when we
I
saw him, he
love
was about
that.
to marry a girl in
10 months
Vegas.
sober.
Yeah.
He's like he's on fire for it, you know, like he
Dude.
gives a fuck about
That was,
That's
dude.
awesome.
I've honestly, I don't think ever felt so good than when I was living in a halfway house, reading the big book in the back of a car, going to and from detoxes.
Yeah, dude, life was so simple back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
know.
don't do
Life-
this one thing.
Yeah, life was so simple.
Yeah.
And that's saying something because I got sober in 2008, where like the financial crisis wiped out like more than half of what little I had saved.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, dude, and I burned down all my bridges, and like I didn't know that I had any earnings potential left, and now I'm taking care of myself, so I'm like probably only halfway through my life.
Yeah.
I was like, I got nothing. I have no way of feeding myself, and I'm probably going to be alive for another fucking 30
Right.
years.
Yeah. I saved myself to
Like,
have nothing. Yeah. Yeah.
I started comedy living in a halfway house, and I swear to God, I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to do this. I'm going to go to an open mic. If it doesn't work out, I know where a Home Depot is. I can get a chair and a rope. There's a sturdy banister downstairs. Things will be fine, you know?
Let me ask you this, like, because it had a lot to do with me getting into stand-up, was that all of a sudden going to a bar or a nightclub is not on the table
Yeah.
anymore.
It sucks.
Yeah.
But going to a comedy club, there's every like legitimate reason to be there.
Yeah.
Ian can do most things. Ian gets so hyper off of attention that you can bring him to a club and he will have a good time. It's actually insane.
Or night,
Oh, like
yeah,
a
but you
nightclub.
don't have a reason to be in a nightclub.
No,
dude.
no.
But at the
I mean,
strip club, you were the
we went
king
to a
of the
strip
strip.
club.
Everybody
Sounds
was
like
blacked
there's,
out.
like,
there was a reason.
I think strip club, inner
Yeah.
circle,
Yeah.
red
Inner
light.
circle. Yeah,
I
you
know.
fucked one of the strippers.
I know.
Yeah.
But he was having a great time.
It was
And he
fun.
didn't touch any alcohol. so
Yes,
that's
I
good.
did it.
We're working
Yeah.
on it. We'll get to
You know
Steve-O
what's funny?
level.
You got sober in 2008. I went to my first meeting in 2008, and I thought AA was so anonymous. I told everyone my name was Tom. I thought you didn't even give real names. you
Yeah,
know?
no, you identified by your first name.
Yeah, no, I'm aware now. Yeah.
After they were like, "Hey, Tom," and you were like,
yeah.
"They're like,
Yeah.
Tom."
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good deal, dude. Like, 15 years.
That's amazing.
You know, like-
Straight the whole time.
Yeah, but
That's fucking beautiful,
I've been-
dude.
my chemical sobriety is 15 years. My sex sobriety is 6 years. And, like, it turns out life's not that fucking complicated.
Yeah.
Your
You know,
sex
I like-
sobriety is one day. We're starting today, Steve-O.
I
And you know what? Your
jerked
first-
off earlier. Half day.
I tried to touch your vagina an hour ago.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, sobriety date is the first day that you didn't act out.
Well,
Oh,
tomorrow's the first day of the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Nice.
But anyways, man, what a treat. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Dude, you're the
thanks for
fucking
coming.
best, man. This
Yeah.
is truly like
we teared up. We were watching a movie when we got the emails asking
Yeah.
if we wanted to have it, and we
Lit-
went
literally we
So,
were doing a
is
movie
huge.
watch of Beetlejuice, and I got the email and I go, oh my God. And we both cried and hugged each other.
Yeah, I
This
love
is
it,
like
man.
the coolest fucking thing, man.
Will you tase me with that taser
What?
right there? Just give me a little shock. Yep, the purple thing. Pull it out of the wall. Just so that I can say I was
Okay.
here. I'll turn it on for you, and I won't do it to you. Don't go crazy or anything. Just tap me with it. But there you go.
You know what?
Go ahead.
Go a little
Okay.
crazy with her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like
Okay,
that
I'll do
stuff.
Ian now.
No.
Oh, sorry.
You've been emotionally tasing me the whole show.
All right, thank you, everybody.
You're
All
the
right,
fucking
everybody.
best. Tell them where they can watch it.
Stevo.com. And you know what? Jackass wouldn't let me do it. I fucking did it anyway. You know?
Yeah, let's go.
Netflix, HBO, any of those fucking, they wouldn't show it to you.
Yeah.
I'm going to show it to you anyway, right fucking now
Yeah.
at Stevo.com. And,
Stevo.com.
and you know, like, it is in the fucking form that it, like, no
Yes.
compromise.
Yes. And like
Yes.
Madball, you DMS, demonstrated your style.
Yeah.
Like Gorilla
Yeah.
Biscuits, you held your ground.
Yeah.
And you can
Yeah.
see me hold my
Put
ground.
yourself in harm's way.
to say, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And you've stayed away from doing angel dust.
Yeah, that's fucking
Go ahead.
right, man. It's the craziest shit ever. Go to stevo.com, enjoy it. If you're a queasy person, then set up a camera in case you pass out. Post that footage.
We're going to watch it. We're going to do a movie
love it.
watch of your special. It's going to be the best.
love
Sunday,
it.
December 3rd, I'm filming my first special, The Cutting Room, New York City, ianfidance.com for tickets. 2 shows, 7 and 9:30. We're halfway sold out. It would be the best thing in the world if we packed that fucker out. It's gonna be a blast.
Big J did a special there, yeah?
Yeah. She did too. She's a half-hour special
I
at the
did do
cutting
a
room.
half hour there.
It's great.
Check out
it
my
out.
half-hour special. It's also very me demonstrating my style. I say a lot of fucked up things. You should watch it.
I love it.
It's a little out of control.
It's great.
It's great.
It's great.
All
Yeah.
right, let's check out that lump.
Yeah! She's lump. She's lump. She's lump. It's in her gine. All right, cut him off. All right, we love you. Bye.
Doesn't matter what you